Tindy C. This is Radio Fox.
And now I will be chatting to my special guest, Emily Rowlat. Thank you for joining us today. And you're going to be holding a charity craft fair very soon at the Leicester Royal Infirmary. And I am just thinking, wow, that sounds absolutely amazing. Yeah. And it's going to be in aid of the Children's Intensive Care Unit. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, it's so absolutely marvellous of what you're going to be doing, and we'll get the details of actually, what's going on, where it's happening, and so forth in a moment. Mm-hmm. But why the Children's Intensive Care Unit at the Leicester Royal Infirmary in particular?
So really, the reason I'm doing it is I was involved in a severe car accident when I was 12 years old, and it's down to the help and the staff at the Children's Intensive Care Unit that I'm here today.
Wow. So, do you mind me asking you what happened?
No, not at all. So, as any car accident, obviously we're in the car going along, and a monkjack deer jumped out into the road. My grandparents, who were driving at the time, swerved to avoid it, and we actually hit a bridge.
Right. Sorry, what did you say? Jumped out?
A monkjack deer.
Really?
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, so we hit the bridge, and then that's where it all went downhill, really.
Gosh, and I hear it was a very devastating outcome of this actual accident.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, because you and your sister were hospitalised for quite some time after that, weren't you?
That's it, yes. We both sustained life-threatening injuries.
Wow. So you were actually brought to Leicester Intensive Care Unit, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
On twos and twos, as they say.
So how long were you actually in the intensive care unit for then?
In the actual intensive care unit, I believe it was 3 weeks.
Right. Okay. How long ago was this accident?
Oh gosh, I'd rather you ask my age, otherwise I've got to do the math.
Okay. Tell you, how old were you when you had this? Because if you went to the Children's Intensive Care Unit.
Yeah, so I was 12 when I went, and I'm 26 now. So.
Right. Wow, okay. Gosh, that must have been... I mean, I could not even begin to say. I mean, because I understand the accident was quite devastating for your grandparents as well, wasn't it?
It was. Unfortunately, we lost both our grandparents at the scene of the accident. Mm. So obviously then it was just my sister and I that were left.
Yeah, well, firstly, I'm very, very sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
And can you give us a very brief overview of your injuries?
Yeah, so excuse me, I sustained injuries to my spleen, in which I had to have a splenectomy. My bowel was also damaged. I had injuries that caused me to have a stroke, which caused an infarct on the brain.
Wow.
And yeah, numerous broken bones as well.
Right. Oh my gosh! And your sister. How are you now? Sort of. It's been obviously some years, but how are you now?
Yeah, doing better than expected, I think is the best way of putting it. Obviously, it still impacts every day of my life. Because I don't have a spleen, I do have a weakened immune system. So I pick up everything and anything that's going around. But considering that at the time I was paralysed all down my left-hand side due to the stroke, all movement, everything is now completely back and to normal, really. Just lucky I was as young as I was when it happened.
How did the ICU, how do you feel that actually helped you, other than obviously looking after your physical injuries and everything?
For me, it was sort of knowing that I was safe. At no point did I ever feel frightened that if something went wrong, that they wouldn't be there or they wouldn't do anything about it. I always felt that they were on high alert and ready and able to cope with anything that was to happen to me.
Right, that's great. And that was a bit of Dirty Diana there, and I have been chatting to Emily Rowlatt, and she's been telling us about a very devastating accident that she had when she was 12 years old, and she was telling us how the Children's Intensive Care Unit actually did help her quite a lot. So hello, Emily.
Hi there.
Hi, yeah, so we were talking about your accident and so forth. So can you tell me a little bit about the effects the accident actually had on you?
Yeah, so obviously, after getting out of hospital, you go through the whole rehabilitation almost of getting back into normal life. And it's little things, you know. You just want everything to be normal, and everyone else is pandering to you, for want of a better word. So yeah, just trying to cope, to go out, to think that people aren't looking at you because they know what you've been through, I think is one of the most difficult things. And then when you're being told by professionals you can't do this or you shouldn't be doing that, I think that's one of the hardest things to come to terms with.
And especially with a 12-year-old as well.
Yes, yeah.
Because, I mean, how old was your sister at the time then?
She was a year younger, so she was 11.
Right. Do you find that this experience has made you closer?
In certain aspects, yes. I think we've always been really rather close. Obviously, we had our sibling spats, as everybody does. But I think there's more of a connection between the two of us that I don't think you can understand unless you've been through something like that with a sibling or anyone really, for that matter.
Yeah, because I guess you've been through an experience that only both of you two can relate to,
exactly,
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of effect did this have sort of in the future, moving on from there, on like your career and your family and so forth? Did it have any effect on any of those things?
Yeah, so leading up to the accident, I always wanted to be a special needs teacher. Excuse me. Obviously, with that all in mind, obviously you have all the training. You have to go to university. You've got to get sort of straight A's, all the rest of it. And after the accident, because of the brain injury, I just didn't have the capability of being able to sort of sit down and concentrate for such a long period of time. So that meant I had to rethink what I wanted to do with my life. And again, as you say, sort of come to terms with the fact that my life wasn't going to play out in the way that I'd always envisioned it to.
Quite something, isn't it? So, I mean, what help did you get at that time then?
So at the time, the school actually that I was at played quite a big part in the fact that I wasn't able really to attend school for at least 8 months afterwards. I went in for the odd sort of morning lessons and that sort of thing. But because I was on warfarin, and again, I didn't know if I was going to live or die for those 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah, they did help me out, so they would send bits and bobs of schoolwork home for me to go through. And my parents, I have to be honest, my parents were my absolute rock, and they were always there. And my mum would always encourage, just as my dad did, in any way they felt they could. And obviously, coming up for teenage years,
right,
I'm under no illusion that I was the nicest of people at times, let's say. So I think they struck a good balance of being tough when they needed to and you know, encouraging when they can. Okay,
so what are you doing now then?
So now I actually I own my own hair and beauty salon in Blyton. Yeah, so
not too far from me actually. I might have to pop down.
Oh yeah, you know, you should do.
Oh, so what adaptations, if any, have you had to make sort of in your normal day-to-day sort of living? Are you pretty okay now with most things?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, I do everything pretty much the same as normal people, if you want a better
in inverted commas, eh?
Yeah. Just the same way as everybody else does. I just think at times I can be guilty of running away with ideas, quite literally. And I'll get something in my head and I'll run with that. And I get a little bit of the tunnel vision.
But sometimes it takes people like that in the world as well to get things done, doesn't it?
That's exactly what I've been saying to everyone.
Yeah. I am so with you on that one. I think, I'm glad we have Emily's in the world as well, then, yeah? So basically, and one thing you did say that I was quite interested in the email you sent earlier, that you were limited in a professional world due to your injuries. I mean, could you elaborate on that a little bit more, please?
Yeah, so basically all I meant by that was obviously I had to change what I've done, because obviously I'm under no illusion that as much as I would absolutely love to go to university or wheresoever to do extra studying, I know that personally, because of the brain injury that I sustained, I'd probably manage a few months, 6 months maximum, I would have thought, and then I will be so bored with it because my brain's constantly, running at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, and you probably want more sort of different things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Always looking for different avenues. And, injury-wise, I've also, with the job that I'm doing now, they did say, because I was paralysed on the left-hand side, that I was always sort of forever and a day going to be slightly weaker on the left-hand side of my body.
Right.
Now, obviously, with hair and beauty, you use both your hands.
Do you do
every
massaging
day.
as well?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
So I think the hardest thing for me was having to learn to properly twist a brush as you're blow drying and hold it and all of that. So I've had to sort of adapt to do that, whereas a lot of hairdressers will sort of swap hands with their blow drying and their brushing techniques. I stick to one, so I can get to a point if I'm doing a lot in one day where I gain sort of secondary injuries through what I'm having to do.
Wow, that's quite amazing, because it's like, I suppose the normal person probably wouldn't actually appreciate how much more difficult or how much more effort you need to put in just to get a simple everyday task done.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm absolutely very happy to hear that you've proved everybody wrong, and this is an absolutely totally amazing story, and it's a very inspirational one as well, and I'm really happy I'm talking to you today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a little bit more about your craft sale. I think we're just going to play a bit of Beyonce now, then talk to you in just a few moments, yeah?
Okay, no problem.
And that was the mellow tunes of Beyonce there with Irreplaceable. I hope you enjoyed that one. And I have been chatting to Emily. You had a very serious accident when you were 12 years old, and you were in the Leicester ICU for some time, weren't you?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So they really looked after you quite a lot, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, and they virtually brought you back from the brink of death back to health and, vitality, yeah?
They did, yeah. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here now. So, yeah.
That is it's so heartwarming to hear that. So, the money that you're hoping to raise at this charity craft fair, I mean, is there anything in particular that the unit are looking for at the moment, or is it generally just to help the unit sustain itself?
It's really just about trying to give something so as they can continue to do the work that they do, really. And can keep up doing the good job. I mean, if they wanted to have a party on the ward, let's say, with the cash, then by all means go for it. You know what I mean? If it boosts morale, so...
I like your thinking. I like it a lot. Yeah. So do you have any sort of messages out there for anybody that's been listening to your story today and they're probably thinking, wow, she's so inspirational. She's done this amazing thing where you've had obviously a very adverse set of circumstances and you've overcome that, and step by step, I believe that, you've got to where you are now.
Well, I think the message for me is don't isn't a word, can't isn't a word, and don't believe that there's never anything you can do. There's always something that you can do, and always look on the bright side of things, even when things seem their bleakest and at their worst. Just believe that it's going to happen, because there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow, thank you so much. That is absolutely amazing that you're saying all that. Where did you get your optimism from? Because obviously you went through quite an ordeal. And, obviously you can be one of two ways after something like this. I mean, where did you find all this optimism from and this positivity?
Well, I think to be honest with you, my family have played a big part in that. I think for us, it's always been one of those situations. You can either laugh or you cry. Now, personally, I'd much rather laugh about things than cry. So I always try and look on the bright side. So I wouldn't want to live my life as sad and depressed all the time. So just keep looking up and things will come your way. So.
Oh, that's absolutely lovely. So tell me, what date will this charity craft fair be on?
So the date is the 26th of November, which I believe is just under 2 weeks away.
26th of November. What day does that fall on? Is that Tuesday?
Saturday.
Okay, so I'm completely out of sync, aren't I? The Saturday. Okay, and where will it be held exactly?
It will be at Sileby Community Centre, which is on the High Street, if anybody knows that.
Sileby Community Centre. So tell me, what will be on sale?
Oh, we've got bits of everything, quite literally. So we've got, your gifts that are quite honestly perfect for Christmas. You've got teas, coffees, cakes. Then we're going to have a few game stalls.
You saw me at cakes.
Yeah. I think I'll be running that one, to be honest with you.
Okay. Nice one to run. Yeah. So I guess even if you're not particularly crafty yourself,
yeah.
I mean, I suppose it'd be really good presents to buy for other people as well, wouldn't
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And will all the proceeds, they'll be going to the Children's Intensive Care Unit, won't they?
They will. 100% of the door proceeds are going directly to the charity.
Wow, that's an amazing way of saying thanks to the charity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So now if people, they're very interested in donating, but for some reason or another they're unable to actually come along to the actual craft fair, where can they donate?
Okay, so we've set up a Just Giving page.
Mm.
Now, I hope that this address is right. I've been searching for it all morning, and I seem to have finally nailed it. So the address is www.justgiving.com/crowdfunding/CICU, all in capitals, at AT, that's lowercase, and then in capitals, LRI.
Okay.
It's quite a long one.
Yeah, no, that is. What I'll do is I will put the details of this at Radio Fox as well.
Yep.
If anybody wants to sort of ring up and just double check what that page is. But also when I put this piece up onto YouTube, I will have a link below there going straight to the website. And how long are these sites normally up for people to donate?
They're normally up for 30 days.
So that's quite useful then, so people can obviously get in touch and donate something towards the Children's Intensive Care Unit. Right, is there anything else you'd like to say today?
I guess just a massive thank you to everyone that's helped me get where I am today, really, and not just myself. My sister would be included in that.
Yeah, okay. And is your sister, is she still in Leicester as well?
She is, yes.
Okay, well, pass my regards on to your sister too. Will she be at the fair at all?
Yes, I will be roping her in to help.
She'll be helping. Whether she knows it or not, she will be helping,
yes,
yeah?
She'll be there, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to try my very best to pop along and have some cake and meet
That'd
you
be
as well. But anyway, have an absolutely wonderful sale, and people have been listening today, and I will have the details up onto YouTube quite soon, and they can donate. And you will be on Ruth's show next week, is that right?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so that's next Tuesday, and that's between 1 and 3. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna play out with a song that you told me was a particular favourite of yours. Would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, this is Craig David and 7 Days.
This is just for you, Emily.
Thank you.
Tindy C. This is Radio Fox.